Greetings, people of the world, Matthias Griffin back with you for the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers Live. Tonight we have returned to the locks of Girabanya, just in the shadow of Alamigo, where it's time for us to speak with the Resistance officer to go take on weapon number 2. And if you remember last time, this weapon story is not something you would have normally expected. Last time we had to confront members of a group of orphans who became a family unto themselves after they were adopted by Gaius. And having been influenced by him, they're wanting to go to the ends of the earth and beyond to fight for the Guardian Empire. And so, they're even willing to sacrifice themselves to do it, driving the weapons of this game that are the take on the weapons featured in Final Fantasy VII. To find out how this continues further, well, we already know what's going to happen, because someone has already let us know that they're going to be driving the Sapphire weapon after the Ruby weapon that was driven by their adopted sister Melisandre, ended up being turned into a scrap heap, and Melisandre herself turned into a very grotesque manifestation of one of the former officers, one of the former legatuses of the Guardian Empire. So, it's time for us to see this story continue on. Let's go and speak with the Resistance officer of the Alamigan Resistance to take on our next quest, entitled Sleep Now in Sapphire. Information related to the weapon project has been uncovered, and your allies prepare to depart for distant lands. Shinji, I'm afraid we haven't much in the way of information to share from the front line. We have, however, received word that Gaius wishes to speak with you at Alliance headquarters. I've arranged an escort to take you to headquarters, so when you're ready to depart, speak with fellow over there. So that we will do. So, of course, since we're in the source, Shinji is dressed in blue armor. So off to the Resistance fighter to speak with him. Ready to head out? Indeed we are. That's cute there, Elizabeth. What's not cute is what's about to happen next. Gaius isn't here yet, but his subordinate Severa is. Let's go and speak with her first. Good, you're here. The Ironworks has completed their analysis of the Ruby weapon, and Sid Garland wishes to share his findings. I take it you can spare a few moments? Of course we can. Very good. Please wait here while I inform him of your arrival. And so away she goes. So, sometime later. Hey there, Sid. Glad you can make it, Shinji. I'm sure you're as anxious as anyone to hear what we've uncovered. Do tell. So what happened in the wake of our victory? Our early hypotheses were proven correct. The Guardians have designed a system whereby a pilot's consciousness can be forcibly supplanted with data based on the memories and experience of another. So even a rank amateur could obtain the combat capabilities of a seasoned warrior? Precisely. And we learned how this was made possible when we opened the cockpit. The monitors were still operational, and among the messages displayed, one particular phrase caught my attention. Synthetic Orosight System. And why is that? Which is what exactly? Well, the core of the ultimate weapon was referred to as the Heart of Sabik by the Asians. We believe it to have been a type of Orosight. I can't say much for the synthetic sort at this stage, but I've encountered real Orosight before. It was extremely potent, perhaps equal in power to the Heart of Sabik. It's unclear whether the Guardian Simulacrum possesses the same properties as genuine Orosight, but I intend to follow this avenue of inquiry to see where it leads. What we do know is that it was used to implant the combat data of Neil Van Darnus into the pilot, who's been presumed dead since before the Calamity. Are you any closer to discovering how they were able to retrieve this data? The link didn't occur to Gaius at first, but later he told me of devices fitted to the Magitech armor of the Empire's high-ranking officers. There is reason to believe that they were designed to emanate the soul crystals used throughout Eorzea. Yes, that was rumored to be its true purpose, but it was never publicly acknowledged. Perhaps those in the upper echelons of command wanted to avoid comparisons to the so-called savages they were meant to be conquering. Yeah, for all of their grandstanding that they've done over the years, the Guardians have proven to be so similar to Eorzeans themselves. There's also the question of whether this system even functions as intended. Yeah, why is that? With our sad face. From what we've seen, we can assume they were successful in gathering combat data of those wearing armor equipped with the device. If this comparison with soul crystals is valid, perhaps this data was transferred via ether. However, it seems that it extracted not only memories related to combat, but the soldier's very essence. As you saw, the pilot succumbed entirely to the will of Van Darnus. Though this is merely supposition, it's possible that being fused with the ruby weapon's core accelerated the process and caused the deceased legatus to manifest in corporeal form. Yeah, and in a very grotesque way too. Could it be that the death of the pilot was caused by the system malfunctioning? It's hard to say. The ruby weapon itself was still largely intact when it deactivated, which strongly implies that it was with the synthetic Auracite running amok that killed her, rather than the damage incurred during the battle. And as we're having this conversation, there's Gaius. But even after our analysis, I'm afraid we still don't have enough information. For now, perhaps we should consult with Gaius as to our next plan of action. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So let's go ahead and speak with Gaius and his friend Voldolan. Hello there, gentlemen. Voldolan has come bearing vital information. I traced the ruby weapon's path back to the occupied territory of Wurlet, where it appears to be where it was built. Yeah, where exactly is it? Or my grasp of geography is surprisingly poor. Care to enlighten me? Yeah, where exactly is that place? While Alamigo is placed on the western edge of Gimlet, Wurlet lies on the opposite side, to the east. It was once a proud and prosperous city until it was brought to its knees by the Imperial invaders. You seem rather well informed. Perhaps I should have taken you with me. Hey there, Ichigo, welcome to the stream, glad to have you with us. I thought that much was common knowledge. It is also where Alphonse and the others were born. And now the weapon project has brought them home. Yes, the place is now rife with Imperials. They've established an airship supplying the depot in the coastal town of Turncliffe. According to the locals, something resembling one of our weapons was transported there a few days ago. This bodes ill indeed. Were it possible, I would attempt to capture Alphonse and his followers before they can launch an offensive. However, the distance between here and Turncliffe presents a considerable obstacle, and in all likelihood, their weapon will be ready long before we arrive. Approaching by sea would allow us to save time by circumventing their ground-based troops, provided we were able to secure a vessel. Or you could use the Enterprise and take the most direct route of all, as the crow flies. In fact, this is the perfect chance to put my top-secret plan into action. Oh, is that so? And might I ask what that entails? It wouldn't be much of a secret if I told you now, would it? What I can say is that there's a starring role planned for you, Shinji. Is that so? Well, I am dressed for battle. Why so surprised? You didn't think I'd let you get off that easily, do you? It'll be here soon, so don't go anywhere. And off he goes. Yeah, what has he got in store for us? Well, we do know that combat is required, so let's go ahead and speak with Gaius. I see Sid still delights in keeping others in suspense. I can only hope he does not make us wait over long. Well, let's go ahead and see what we're getting ourselves into. And I do mean that quite literally. See how we see that the Enterprise has been given an upgrade. Or rather, it's a version 2.0 of the Enterprise. And the Enterprise itself is towing this thing. Yeah. What do we see? Yeah, looks pretty ominous, doesn't it? But as we're about to find out... Yeah, look at this thing glowing and staring at us. It is, Shinji. What is it? I present Garland Ironworks' adaptation of the Ultimate Warrior, the G Warrior. Obviously G for Garland. Yeah, look at our amazed eyes. I know elegant design when I see it. Excavated from one of their ruins, no doubt. This law, to be precise. We came across it during our course of our investigations and we decided it would be a shame to let it go to waste. Yeah, so now we have our own version of the ultimate weapon. And you will be taking this refitted relic to face the enemy head-on, yes? Perhaps my knowledge of the ultimate weapon will be of use. Yeah, perhaps it will. I'm counting on it as it happens. But first, we'll need to perform a test run in the simulator before throwing you into battle. Come, we haven't much time. Yeah, so let's see what we can do with this thing. Yeah, we now have our very own Japanese-style mech. So, in we are in the, in this G-Warrior mech, so let's begin the G-Warrior training simulation. I've prepared 3 trials to teach you the basics. Yeah, everything can be controlled with R2. First, I want you to try attacking the guidance system. Don't worry, it won't fight back. So there it is. The G-Warrior is armed with ranger weaponry. Now's your chance to learn what it's capable of. So as you can see, yeah, this thing breaks the bank when it comes to health. 600,000 points and 10,000 points for EP. So, among the things it can do, Aether Mine, which is an ability that can weaken the opponent. Ultimate Buster, which is an AoE laser. There's the Ether Cannon, which is a run-of-the-mill attack. There's Auto Restoration, which heals health, about 40%, as well as your EP. Plus a combo attack, 3 points. So ultimately, the combo attack does drain your EP. And it's something to keep in mind when we're actually taking on the Sapphire weapon for real. Yeah, how's that for a crit hit? 460,000 points. Yeah. Real players won't be able to get a score like that anytime soon. So far so good. Let's move on to something a bit more advanced, shall we? Yeah, not only that, it's hovering over the water. The G-Warrior also comes equipped with a Pyretic Booster which diverts even more power towards weapons and increases its speed and maneuverability. This, however, comes at a price. Activating it places a huge strain on the G-Warrior, so must only be used in short bursts. That's why it's best to practice here before heading into battle. Now try activating the Pyretic Booster. So that now comes on. And this is what it looks like. You'll notice that your movement speed is much improved, but as shown on your monitor, the G-Warrior becomes more and more structurally unstable as time passes. To deactivate the Pyretic Booster, press the same button again. Yeah, the booster itself will drain my health. Auto Restoration can mitigate a certain amount of damage, but don't rely on it to carry you through the battle. Now try using the Pyretic Booster to destroy the target. Alright, so here's another node. This time the node will launch wide-reaching attacks in quick succession, but with your increased movement speed, you should have no trouble evading them. Alright, and go. Also, I should probably use one of these to weaken it a little. So now we can start moving. Yeah, just cut away on this thing. And down it goes. So turn that off. Excellent work, Shinji. You best deactivate the Pyretic Booster while I explain the final trial. So, do tell. We've covered offense, now to look at defense. This is where the Ethereal Aegis should come in handy. Unfortunately, you can't keep the barrier up indefinitely as it will drain the G-Warrior's power reserves. You might even run out of energy for the weapons, so watch out. First, let's try deploying the Ethereal Aegis. So, let's turn that on now. It's a pyramid of power. The monitor shows how much power is being drained. Don't let it get too low. That's enough for now. Turn off the barrier using the same button used to deploy it. Now we await our final attempt. For the last try, we'll use the Ethereal Aegis while attempting to destroy the target. There you are. Unlike before, there's no way to escape its attacks, so you need to weather them using the barrier. Let's go. Alright, so let's raise our pyramid. And then turn it off. And then raise again. Keep ourselves alive. There we go. And a little healing for good measure. You're unnatural. Alright, that's everything. Time to end the simulation. So yeah, that was just training. Well, I never watched Transformers, nor have I ever seen a single movie. Cause hashtag Michael Bay ruins everything. Alright, now for that was the appetizer, now for the main course. Are you sufficiently prepared? Yes, I'm ready. Then we shall depart for Turncliffe at once. Let's go ahead and do this. I should point out that in practice today, this fight took me 5 attempts. It was a lot of tries to get this through. Well, it can't necessarily be compared to Voltron, because it was basically like the Power Rangers Megazord, multiple machines combining into one. And so, with the support of 2 Enterprises towing us to the battlefield, which will be above water, as we saw previously, it seems they were expecting us, but who's the pilot? Shinji, we're almost there. You better have your wits about you. Yeah, we're all set to go with our G-Warrior. Initiate combat mode, I have control, or just stumble. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, now we're in control. Yeah, it even comes down on a monitor. Now get ready to strike. It's time to overfight this giant squid. Is it too late to back out, or G-Warrior engage? Yeah, let's show off the fierce determination in our face. That sounds awfully familiar. It does, doesn't it? It's released. Make sure we don't come in for a splash landing. This isn't meant to do cannonballs with. But there's our opponents. And yeah, further proof that this is Japanese mech style, we even come with our own sword. To take on the Sapphire weapon. Yeah, going underwater first. Yeah, where is it? Behind you! Yeah, stay out of danger on this guy. I can't afford to lose. It's all or nothing. Activating Oversoul! Hydra's combat sample ready. Initiating organic core override. No, I can't hold on! Hey guys, I'll be monitoring the situation from the air. Follow my instructions and eliminate the target. Yeah. Shall we have ourselves a showdown? Alright, all you Gundam / Macross / Neon Genesis Evangelion / Eureka 7 / etc. Japanese mech fans. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. First, we're going to start by chucking a mine at this thing to get the battle going to weaken it immediately. And away we go. So yeah, one thing we will need to really prioritize as well is restoration and a whole bunch of other things, because this guy does have an enrage. The first time he showed off his enrage, he still had like a third of his health left. Don't need to worry about this particular move. You do need to worry about this one. Elsewhere. And continue. Chuck another mine at him. Turn off the booster for a little while and then turn on the Aegis to keep ourselves alive as per Gaius' instructions. Now I need to back up a little and use the Aether Cannon. Give myself a little bit of restoration. When it says Swift Reach in the cast timer, get the Aegis up. Then get down the middle. Just bide a little time before we start going full throttle again. We want to Aegis used again, so we'll use it. Perfect timing to use the auto restoration. Then we can use our Pyretic Booster once again. Oh, should probably turn off the Aegis. Alright, now here's the fun part. Trying to dodge all these things. Yeah, he's brought out not one but two full sets of turrets. And we gotta try and dodge them all. We also must destroy them all. Danger. Then hack away at him a little more. Oh, nope, that's not it. Go down to the Aether Mine. Escape. Use a little auto. Thankfully, there's just enough space for me to get away. Until now. So I'll stay my ground. This raised again. And working a little dangerously here. Alright, raises it again. Don't have to worry about the thing itself, I just have to worry about the what's over here. Again. Alright, this time they're all gone. I can use my auto restoration. And wait for them to resurface. Come out wherever you are. Okay, Swift Reach is incoming. Gotta get out of the way of this move. Use the Aether Aegis again as a precautionary. Let's chuck an Aether Mine at him. Go. Raise the Aegis again. mean to use that yet. So here comes the regular again. Get away. Then jump in on him. Okay, escapes again. Standing by. Aegis. Down that comes. Alright, now he's going to go to enrage. So now we need to use the ultimate buster and just keep spamming it. Come on, come on. Oh. Yeah, I had to get that up. Now here, it's not essential that I destroy all the turrets, but the more I can get rid of, the better. Right, now it's just him and me. Now I gotta beat the enrage. Nothing else matters just so long as I can beat the enrage. Yeah, there's only one turret left, but it's not gonna cause enough damage to kill me, and we go. Hey Pygmy, welcome to the stream, glad to have you with us. You timed your appearance just in time. You got it perfectly. And so, after our victory and the new day dawns, yeah, our mech has beaten theirs. And it didn't take me 5 times to get it like I did in practice earlier today. The target has been silenced. Yeah, that damn squid never stood a chance or understood. Yeah. That's not about our victory. Yeah, we didn't even need an 8-player party to get the job done this time. Now that the immediate threat has been dealt with, we should gather what information we can in Turncliffe. Got it. So yeah, with this thing looking like a beached whale, we can now go visit the nearby settlements under Garland occupation. And since combat is no longer required, we can dress a little more casually around here. Hey there, Gaius. You did well to pilot the G warriors so adeptly in so short a time. And with the weapon largely intact, Sid and his researchers should be able to gather a wealth of valuable information. Before it is dismantled, perhaps we should take one last look upon our fallen foe. Yeah, and a little insult to injury. So, later that night, so yeah, it's now a veritable fleet of enterprises that are going to fish this thing out of the water, but now it's also time for an echo. Yeah, it's time to reunite with the Aura orphans, including Rex, who is responsible for piloting this thing. We should have known Father and his friends would track us down sooner or later. Now they're at our doorstep and the Sapphire weapon still isn't ready! Even so, it should still be able to fend them off or at least buy us some time. Not quite how I imagined it, but this seems as a good way to die as any. A good day to die hard. Rek'Sai! Yeah, there's his adopted brother. Recon, why are you still here? You're supposed to be moving the other weapons to a safe location! Yeah, he could, but you can take care of that while I pilot the Sapphire weapon. You want to do it? And he's like, what? What are you talking about? I'm the pilot, not you! There's no need to put your life on the line! Besides, it's still incomplete. It can barely perform basic maneuvers, so it'll be practically useless in a real fight. We have a solution. Oversoul. You want to end up like Melisandre? I guess he does. Oh no, of course not. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So then why? What do you have to say? But she didn't give her life in vain. The ruby weapon left behind data that's been used to improve the system so to prevent any further malfunctions. What difference does that make? Once Oversoul is activated and the part fuses with the core, there's no way back! That's why I should be the one to pilot the Sapphire weapon, not you, Rex. Alphonse needs you. Yeah, why do you say that? You know, you and I both know I'm the least qualified pilot we have. There's less to lose if I don't make it back. No! I won't let you! Please, Rex, hear me out. Ever since we were children, I was the smallest, the weakest, too afraid to stand up for myself. But I had the best brothers and sisters a boy could wish for. You were always there for me, protecting me. Now it's my turn to protect you. Take the other weapons and get out of here. See this through to the end. Yeah, do it for me. For Melisandre. I'm counting on you, Rex. Yeah, you can see how frustrated he is. Yeah, he really doesn't want his brother to go through with it. You always did have a stubborn streak. Alright, Recon, I won't let you down. Just promise you'll wait for me on the other side. We'll meet again, brother. And away he goes, knowing full well what's about to happen. You all made me happier than I had any right to be. And now, I've finally found my purpose. I have no regrets. Come on, Sapphire. We may be far from perfect, but we have a job to do. Let's give Father something to remember us by. And remember him you will. So yeah, Gaius, we have something to tell you. The Echo, I presume. What did it reveal to you? Well, let me tell you who was driving. Recon, my poor boy. You were braver than most could ever hope to be. And now he's just floating there. It is as we feared. I'm sorry, Gaius. Yeah, and Gaius is not happy. As his comrades look on. First Melisandre, now Recon. We must find the remaining weapons and end this madness! Yeah, this is driving him nuts. Yeah. Your creations are now showing you just what they're capable of, and now he's filled with regret. Yeah, what you created with the purpose of advancing the cause of the Guardian Empire is now making Gaius miserable. Let's speak with Valdelan again. Tell me, what do you make of Gaius Belsar? I understand the two of you have been acquainted since his days as the Black Wolf. He claims to have shed his pelt when he took up the hunt for the Arsians, but he's still the same man deep down. You really think so? He certainly kept quiet about having a flock of foster children back in the Empire, though. It seems he would rather bare his teeth to his former masters than allow harm to come to them. Yet try as I might, I cannot make sense of it. Does he truly fight for the good of mankind as he would have us all believe, or is he merely biding his time before he reveals his true colours? Whatever the answer may be, in the end he will always be a Garlean. And though there may be honourable men and women among them, I have suffered much and more as a result of their conquests, barbaric campaigns in which Gaius Belsar played no small part. Yeah, do tell. My first encounter with Garleans was 20 years ago, shortly after the fall of Alamigo. They continued their march into the lands that had long been home to we Duskwights. We sought to repel the invaders, but we were woefully unprepared. Our bows and arrows were no match for their magitech, and even our most powerful magics did little to slow their advance. I fought on the front line, but was knocked unconscious in the opening exchange. When I came to, I was alone. The rest of my unit slaughtered. I hurried back to my village to look for my wife and daughter, only to find the place deserted. My search lasted for days, then weeks, then months, and it seemed they had disappeared without a trace. I finally learned from two Imperialists held at Bittermill that the villagers had been captured and used as test subjects for the poison gas that would be later known as Block Rose. Yeah, you remember that stuff? From back in Stormblood? They were never seen again. For 20 long years, I roamed aimlessly with nothing but hatred to keep me alive. I eventually found myself at the Order of the Twin Adder, who offered me a place among their ranks. The desire for revenge was the only thing I had left. So without a moment's hesitation, I accepted. Were it not for the war with Garlemald, I would have been loath to work alongside the city-dwelling Gridonians, who for so long had treated my kind as outcasts. But none of that mattered anymore. It all culminated with Operation Archon. As you led the charge into the Praetorium, actually that would have been Edie, of course, we were right behind you, and when the place came crumbling down, most of us were caught in the rubble. I escaped with my life, though many others were less fortunate. Having dragged myself free from the rubble, I sought a way out. It was then that I encountered none other than Gaius Belsar on the verge of death. The gods had delivered to me the man whose conquest had robbed me of everything. I was poised, ready to exact my revenge. And then he spoke. Quote, "I will not beg for mercy. I only ask that you stay your hand a while longer. I cannot die until I have rid the world of the Ascian menace. For millennia, mankind has danced to their tune, but no more. Then, once we are finally free, my life is yours for the taking." End quote. I would have struck him down there and then if I had not sensed the truth in his words. So, I decided to grant him a stay of execution and join him on his hunt. All this time, I've kept a close eye on Gaius. Though he is ever on the watch for pursuers, he has granted me ample opportunity to slay him if I so choose. And I still might, if he shows even the slightest sign of betraying our agreement. Yeah, he's that bloodthirsty. Hey Jess, welcome to the stream, glad to have you with us. But for now, the Ascians are my chosen quarry. If they are indeed the ones pulling the Empire's strings, then it shall not end until they have been eradicated, every last one. Though I cannot say my kin, there are those who may yet be spared the horrors of war. Yeah, looking at him sadly. Unfortunately, dealing with the Ascians will have to wait until we have brought an end to Garlemald's weapon projects. Though we may have vanquished two of the new weapons, we must make every effort to prepare for whatever the Garleans throw at us next. Perhaps Severa can tell us whether the Ironworks engineers have uncovered any information of note? Well, let's go see what they have to say. Yeah, you can, as dawn arrives, you can run out and check out the salvaging that's going on in the Sapphire weapon, and even though we are in Garland territory, the setting that we have here is actually quite nice, with the sunrise coming up and the Mediterranean-style archipelago islands that are not far off the coast of this place. And since I did say Mediterranean archipelago, it should not come as much of a surprise that the buildings here are also of inspiration of the Mediterranean design, most notably of Greek design. And you can even speak with the locals around here. Let's start with this former Imperial conscript. I've been separated from my family ever since I was forced into the army, but I was able to sneak away in the confusion. I've got you and your friends to thank for that. My main concern is that Legatus Valens won't take this lying down. That man is like a dog with a bone. Once he sinks his teeth in, he never lets go. He'll be back, I'm sure of it. Meanwhile, we can also speak with this rueful civilian. What do you want with me, lad? Well, first of all, tell me about yourself. Me? Not much to tell and even less worth knowing. These days, I go about my daily business trying not to bother anyone. Just another sad old man all alone and dying of... Well, I doubt you even care if I told you. No, go on. Used to call myself a doctor, not that I was much good at it. When the epidemic came 10 years ago, I was powerless to stop it, despite all my years of experience in fancy medicines. For every one saved, I lost a dozen more. Kinda makes you think of COVID, doesn't it? Worse than that, I let those Garland bastards push me around, tell me who to treat and who to leave to their fate. As a result, I only saw to the Imperials while my kith and kin died in agony. Yeah, that's pretty rough to be forced to save the invaders rather than his own people. Hey Thunder Dragon, welcome to the stream, glad to have you with us. So yeah, what can you tell me about this place? Being far to the south of Wurlet, perched atop the cliffs, there was never much reason for anyone to travel here. Being by the sea is all well and good, but we're simply too high above the water to benefit much from it. The gulls and terns don't seem to mind though. Most of the town folk are either Huron natives or Aurora who found their way here over the years. They all lived side by side peacefully enough before the Garlands came and ruined everything. There wasn't much we could do to stop them. Those who fought back were soon put to the sword. Once the invasion was complete, the Imperials started digging down into the rock and built a supply depot for their blasted airships. But the experiments were a more recent development. Of course, none of us civilians were privy to what it was they were working on. I expect that it will all come to light now that the bastards have all turned and fled with their tails between their legs. We've got you and yours to thank for that, even if it is only a temporary respite. So that's what he has to say. Now what about this lonely Aurora widow?
Those Garland bastards are finally gone, and it's all thanks to you. My husband died defending our town when they first invaded, and for all the years since, it felt like he died for nothing. Now his soul might at last find peace.
And we can, once we don't stop running into things, we can even speak with a fighter from the Alamegan Resistance. Most of the 7th Legion's troops stationed here withdrew before you arrived. I expect they're regrouping somewhere and getting ready to retake the town. I even heard one of the members of the Weapon Project is still hiding somewhere in the town. And then there are the escort and the technician who can take us back to, Girabanya, but we must advance this plot now, so standing in front of this beautiful fountain, which to be honest, I'm shocked the Guardians would even allow beautiful architecture like this to stand. In any event, let's speak with Severa.
The Ironworks engineers are still at work dismantling the Sapphire weapon and investigating the Turncliffe Magitech facility. Though they have yet to make their report, they may have some news to share at this juncture. Please wait here a moment.
It's a place called Turncliffe. It's a town we go to during the plot for the Sapphire weapon. We've yet to finish our investigation, but I can give you a preliminary report. Were you able to recover anything of note? Before abandoning the facility, they attempted to destroy anything they couldn't take with them, including many of their research materials. Luckily, some information relating to the Sapphire weapon's combat data was intact. Judging by what we saw during the battle, it was extracted from regular Van Hydrus, correct? And that would be the Garland Legatus who we confronted while making our way to Oz's Law, and then who we also had to confront during our pursuit of the Warring Triad. It also appears that the Sapphire weapon was actually in an incomplete state, and therefore unable to perform at full capacity. Even so, it was immensely powerful. Had they been given the chance to finish it before we arrived, who knows how it would have ended. Indeed, we may not be so fortunate next time, so we must prepare for the worst. The Ironworks will continue to investigate the Sapphire weapon and look into possible countermeasures. What's on your mind, Gaius? The Echo afforded you a glimpse into the conversation between Recon and Rex prior to the weapon's deployment. Do you remember any other details? Well, some. I can give you a bit of a explanation. Improvements were made to the synthetic oversight system to prevent malfunctions? Then it was never their intent to create a manifestation of Nail Van Darnus. But there was one thing that was intended. Something you both agree on? Oversoul. Its activation results in the pilot being absorbed by the core, killing them in the process. Rex and Recon were fully aware of this, were they not? Indeed they were. Sadly. Then the death of the pilot was by design all along. Yeah, this is becoming too much for Gaius to bear. Alphonse, how could you? Sacrificing your own siblings to fuel these accursed war machines!
Surely there's no cause worth paying such a price.
Nay, nothing's more precious than family. This nightmare is far from over. It appears that Rex has fled with the remaining weapons, and we can assume that Alphonse has every intention of sending them into battle. We must find a way to disable them before Oversoul can be activated. I have seen enough death. I do not wish to see any more. Let's hope you're right about that. Then there's no time to waste. Let's be about it, Gaius. Severa, you're in charge here. Keep Sid and his team safe while they carry out the investigation. Oh, you made it that far there, Thunder Dragon?
Understood. Please see that no harm comes to Gaius.
And so yeah, they'll all do what they need to do. While we were gone, I need you to relay everything to Resistance troops. Your first-hand account should prove useful. If there are any developments, we'll be sure to contact you. Alright. So now we can go back to Porta Pretoria. Let's go and speak with the Resistance escort to send us back. We are ready to return to Girabanya. Are you also aware that the Pixies can also be used as a Beast Tribe quest once you've cleared the dungeon in Ilmeg? Yeah, let's go back to the Resistance officer to complete the quest officially. Sir? Welcome back! It sounds like you've been on quite the journey, all the way to Turncliffe. And judging by the fact you made it here in one piece, I trust everything went according to plan? Indeed it did. What an astonishing account! I wouldn't mind putting that G-Warrior through its paces myself. Certainly a lot more stimulating than supervising this rabble, I'd imagine. Oh, come on, someone's got to oversee the operations. Anyway, as before, I'll compile the information into a report and leave it over there for your perusal should you feel so inclined. If we hear anything from headquarters, we'll be sure to pass it on. And so with that, we'll accept our reward for this particular quest. And this one is actually pretty interesting. We get ourselves a Sapphire weapon bust. The chest of this Garland Ironworks scale replica of a select portion of the Sapphire weapon glows ominously, except no substitutes. and only one can be put in an estate. And I'll show you the one that already exists in the FC house after we see what happens in the epilogue. Because yeah, as we saw before, we have to reunite with the family. We gotta deal with the orphans, brothers, and sisters in the 7th Legion's Warlet headquarters. Wherein we have someone who's showing off their push-up prowess and has been working so hard they put up a sweat that's covering their entire body. Hey there, Alphonse. We meet again. And it looks like the next generation of orphans is preparing to make themselves into weapon pilots. I have come to deliver my report, Lord Valens. Yeah, give him the bad news. As he's dripping with sweat. And I mean dripping with sweat. Ah, so you have returned, young Alfred. Or was it Alwick? Not that it really matters, of course. I hear that you and your darling brothers and sisters have allowed the Sapphire weapon to fall into the hands of the enemy. Do tell me it isn't so. I'm afraid that is the case, Lord Valens. Oh, come now. No need to be sullen. As they say, to err is human, to forgive divine. And you know how forgiving I can be. When it suits me. Yeah, even partakes of milk. It does a body good. So tell me, whatever your name is, who was able to best the Sapphire weapon? Do tell. All sources state that the one known as the Warrior of Light was assisted by Cid Garland and Gaius van Baelsar, my lord. Gaius. Yes, it seems he's been quite the troublemaker of late. Defecting from Garlemald, assassinating the Emperor, whatever next? Oh well, there's no use crying over spilt milk. Yeah, as he drums his fingers on the table. Speaking of which, I've become quite the connoisseur since arriving in Warlet. This particular variety comes from a rare breed of cow, you know. Only 100 of them in existence and pampered every day of their lives. Yes, they are quite valuable. Until their milk dries up, that is. When it does, they are sent to the slaughterhouse like all the rest, for that is their lot in life. Yeah, and no chance of breeding them? To be discarded once they have served their purpose. Did I create the ruby and sapphire weapons so that you could deliver them gift-wrapped to the enemy? I can see it now. Cid Garland rubbing his hands with glee at all the technological marvels we've bestowed upon him. And you let Gaius van Baelsar, of all people, get the better of you! How do you think this reflects on me? The legatus of the 7th Legion, humiliated by the traitor! Humiliated, I say! Yeah, gotta get it all out. There's only one way to deal with worthless provincial filth like you! Wait for me in the correction chamber. You need to be taught a lesson in obedience. Yes, my lord. And so away he goes. More than likely to get whipped a whole bunch of times. Meanwhile... Forgive my intrusion, Lord Valens, but it is time for your meeting with the head of Magitech Development. Oh, how time flies when you're whipping useless soldiers into shape. Yes, yes, I'll be along once I've made myself presentable. Can't let people think I've let my standards slip now, can I? Well, sorry guys, but I always do these games in character. Or as best as I can. All the while, Mr. Valens Van Varro whistles to his new proteges. And kicks over a globe in frustration. So yeah, it's time for this particular legatus to go and get suited up. And his orphan friends have to go and help him out. Meanwhile, Alphonse's little sister decides to make an appearance. After the legatus is fully dressed. What are you doing here?
You wish to see me, Lord Valens?
Did I now? Yeah, let me buff up this mirror first. Ah, yes, that's right. So you're Ali, yes? Had you joined the military of your own free will along with your fellow orphans? Such devotion! What an inspiration you are! You see, it is my firm belief that love grants us the power to move mountains, to overcome any obstacle. Someone with a mean streak like you? And your belt made of shark teeth? Together we shall discover the strength that lies within you. Take my hand, child. I will show you the way. And of course, being who she is, she's obviously not even going to give this a second thought. Yeah, come into my open arms while I will ruin your life for all eternity.